But let's now talk about all of the cues that you should be tracking as we get into a brand new trading session. We have our research team joining in with the trade setup. Rima, Nigel and Bahishta all join us to take us through everything that you should track this morning. Rima, let me come across to you first. It definitely looks like the start will be well in the green, but take us through everything we should watch.
Hi, good morning. As you pointed out, the SGX Nifty is suggesting a gap up opening, which could be to the tune of 150 points when you compare it with Monday's future close on the Nifty. Remember, the US markets have been in an uptrend for the last 3 days. Yesterday as well, we had gains of about 0.5%, extending up to 1% on the Dow Jones. And our own markets, even in Monday's trade, were showing you signs of an up move. So the Nifty and the Sensex closed at 10-month highs on Monday. The PSU banks have been outperforming, buoyed by very strong earnings from the mid caps as well as large caps like State Bank of India as well as Bank of Baroda. So all that is positive. Also bear in mind that the FI inflows continue to be very strong. In fact, picking up, the FI's net bought nearly 2,000 crore in the cash market on Monday. They've bought more than 8,000 crore in the month of November itself. The DIIs have been selling, but the selling by the DIIs is less than half of that of the buying of the FI. So net institutional inflows into the market have been more than 1,000 crore for the last 2 days at least. There will be perhaps some wait and watch approach the global markets could take, given that the CPI, the all-important CPI inflation print will be out. So we'll watch for the way the US markets and the global markets play out, because there could be perhaps some amount of pause, but the uptrend in the market seems to be very intact. And today, you've got the support from the global markets as well. Big earnings as well. Tata Motors, Godrej Properties, Lupin, Nalco, Petronet, LNG, just to name a few, should be also tracked as we step into today's trading session. Back to you.
All right, Rima, thanks a lot for putting all of those cues on the table, and that is how the market is likely to move today. But with that, let's also bring Bahishta in and talk about all of the individual stocks that you should track. Bahishta, lots of earnings coming through.
That's right, Pavitra. Lots of earnings, in fact, that have come out in the past 2 days. First is BPCL. The Q2 FY23 results were better than estimates due to one-time subsidy on LPG. The refining segment has also performed better, just like other OMCs. Moving on to Dr. Lal Path Labs, the margins have recovered on a quarter-on-quarter basis, which is a key positive, and this is due to the higher test volumes and improved contribution from Swasth Fit, which is a preventive test. Moving on to Coal India Limited, disappointing numbers coming in due to lower realizations, higher costs, and margins have dipped to 24.4% versus the poll which was expected. So the expectations were much higher at 33.6%. Godrej Consumer Products, lower gross margins again and higher ad spends, which has hurted the EBITDA margins. The volumes dipped 5%. Jubilant Food revenue and EBITDA both have come more or less in line. Good growth in the Domino's store additions at 76. Bajaj Electricals been a weak quarter for the company. Higher inflation, rural stress has led to lower offtake for the consumer products segment, and the market share gains. There have been some good market share gains in the lighting solutions business. Now is at number 3 position versus number 5 position, which was at the end of FY22. For Bosch, the results have been a mixed bag. There has been a strong revenue growth, but the margins were down 50 basis points on a year-on-year basis due to higher material cost and other expenses. A little bit on the insurance segment as well, that the monthly premium numbers were out, so they look decent. Back to you.
All right, that is a long list of stocks, Bahishta, but we're going to keep all of these on our radar today. Finally, let me hand it over to Nigel, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Nigel, like Rima was just pointing out, the flows definitely look good.
Well, that's right. The flows look good, Pavitra. And in fact, the big question is, are we going to have a trend day? That is, start off in the green and gradually move up. And it has all the ingredients actually in place. As you said, the flows have looked rock solid. The FIs, they're showing us all the money. In fact, in the last 8 trading sessions, they bought closer on $2 billion odd, which is pretty good news. Now, in Monday's trading session, we did see the Nifty move up. And there appears there was about a short covering that we saw on the Nifty futures itself. But on the Nifty bank, there was fresh buying. And that explains why, in fact, we ended at the high point of the day, telling you that the Nifty bank is bracing for those all-time highs, which will happen today in the first tick itself. On the index futures, what do the FIs do? Well, they added more shorts than longs. They added closer around 2 shorts for every 1 long position, though they continue to remain net long on the index. On the index option side, well, in terms of the FI activity, you're not getting any big Q because they unbound some of those calls and puts that they bought earlier. On the writing side as well, they unbound some of those positions. But 2 strikes are very, very active. One is the 18,300 call. Now, that is the one that's been seeing a lot of writing. So you need to keep an eye out on that one. When we open up in the green, whether you see some unwinding on this position. Now, that will be the first signs that the bears, they're packing their bags and they're getting out. So keep an eye out on that one. On the downside, though, the 18,100 put as well saw a fair bit of addition. So that gives you a sense that we are firmly in an uptrending market, at least as we speak, till that 17,900, 17,950 level holds out. The resistance as well as the support levels come up for you on the screen. It's a good start to trade. We need to catch up what we missed out yesterday. So closer to around 18,350, building onto that is going to be very, very important. As I said, it could be a trend day today. Back to you.
All right, Nigel, Rima, Vahishta, thanks a lot for joining us. So definitely looks like we'll have a good start, but let's see how the market moves from there. That is everything that you should track as we get into a fresh trading session. But with that, we're going to slip into our first short break on the show. When we come back, it's all about earnings. It was a weak showing for Godrej Consumer, while Tata Motors is in focus ahead of its numbers today. So we'll bring you all of the details when we come back.